The number 20 ranked Razorbacks haven't won here at War Memorial since 2013, but today they finally got a victory back in Little Rock, blowing out Alcorn State 52-10. The Razorbacks women's basketball team hit the road this weekend, traveling to Baton Rouge for a rematch against LSU, a team that handed them a loss at home earlier this month. Most of the high schools in our area are wrapping up their preseason tonight, but that's not the case here in Muldrow as a pair of Sequoyah County rivals clash it out as Vian rolls into town tonight. Bobby, it was around this time last year that Arkansas began to stumble through conference play. Many were worried that after the Diamond Hogs collapsed against LSU that it would trigger another downfall for the Hogs, but they're ready to prove this weekend that that's not the case. The Arkansas football team is still facing a question that came up last spring, which is who will be the backup for Austin Allen. For the first time in 3 years, the Ozark Hillbillies are in the running for the 4A state title, but their first round opponent tonight is probably the toughest team they faced all season. Bobby, as you mentioned, the Arkansas baseball team played Missouri State until well past 3 this morning, but they weren't alone here in Baum Stadium. There were several thousand loyal Hog fans that stayed until the very end. Welcome back to Titans on 2. It's time for our final Ask the Coach question of the night, and this one comes from Titans superfan Brooke Jackson. There was a lot of excitement surrounding this game, considering that it was the first time in a little over a decade that Arkansas and Oklahoma State have faced off against each other, but the reunion did not go well for the Razorbacks, with the Cowboys overpowering them 99-71 here in Stillwater. Oklahoma State was explosive from the start. The Cowboys were up 7-0 just minutes into the game. The Hogs struggled to recover. Their biggest weakness exposed in this game was the fouls against them, especially in the first half. 18 fouls were called in the first 15 minutes of the game, 12 on Arkansas.
What I thought for today, especially that they wrote it throughout. Seemed like every time they had open shot, they made it. And they got to the free throw line an awful lot. The fouls that took place, that occurred, I thought it put us off on our defense. I mean, our guys couldn't even get in the same spirit, guys, and I thought that was me was the most disappointing thing.
Well, this was a strange game for Arkansas. Their usual leading scorer, Daryl Macon, was scoreless today, but there was one bright spot. Jalen Barford, he had a career day, scoring 21 points in the loss. Well, Arkansas will now pick up the pieces as they head back home to take on Alabama next. From Stillwater, Brooke Grimsley, 5 News Sports. The number 20 ranked Razorbacks haven't won here at War Memorial since 2013, but today they finally got a victory back in Little Rock, blowing out Alcorn State 52-10. For the first time this season, Arkansas had 2 running backs run for over 100 yards, one of those being freshman Devwall Whaley.
We want to get Devwall more carries each game. He keeps getting better. He made a nice couple reads today, a nice couple looks. He's definitely a change of pace, fresh legs, and can scoop.
Just the way those guys ran today, I mean, Devwall really showed a different burst out there on that 75-yard touchdown run than just Raleigh. I mean, he's a workhorse for us, and he's really running well.
It was a breakout performance for Whaley. His 75-yard touchdown run was his first score as a Razorback, something he had been patiently waiting his turn for.
Oh, it felt great. It was a great feeling, and it's a blessing. Give God all the glory. I'm only a freshman, so, you know, like I said, I'm just taking it day by day and learning from Raleigh and Cody and just waiting my turn.
Well, this win wrapped up non-conference play for the Hogs, but they have a quick turnaround with the number 1 ranked Alabama heading to Fayetteville next. From Little Rock, Brooke Grimsley, 5 News Sports. Well, Andrew, today was the semifinal round here at Van Buren High School. Only a handful of local teams were left. First up in the girls' game, it was the Van Buren Lady Pointers versus the North Little Rock Charging Wildcats. Van Buren hopes home court advantage will work in their favor against the Wildcats. Lainey Stonen backed up and banks the triple at the top of the key for Van Buren. A few plays later, Dylan Brown in the corner gets in on the 3-point action. Fourth quarter, Lady Pointers trailing. Jalen McKinney cuts into the lead with a layup. 6'1" Yomaris Morris is just too much under the basket. She gets 1 for 2. NLR wins this one 45-38 over Van Buren. The Charging Wildcats are the reigning state champs and will move on to the state finals next week in Hot Springs. Before Bailey McCorkle became Greenwood's star pole vaulter, she spent the majority of her early years in competitive gymnastics.
I was state champion a few times in gymnastics, and it was really fun, but I just kind of got burnt out, and so I needed a new thing to do, and pole vaulting is a lot of fun.
Bailey's background in gymnastics helped her easily transition into pole vaulting. By 7th grade, she set a school record at a high school level, and by 9th grade, she won her first outdoor state title. She knew then that she wanted to pursue the sport at the collegiate level.
Oh, I can actually do this, and so I started to get really serious about it, and I did basketball, but I quit basketball because I realized that I needed to focus on pole vaulting, and I knew I wanted to do it in college.
Bailey had 4 colleges extend offers to her for pole vaulting, but she said as soon as she visited Arkansas, she knew that she had found her next home.
I loved Arkansas so much, and I'm very familiar with the atmosphere there. I really couldn't find anything wrong with it, and I know that sounds like weird, but like at other schools, there was just always that one thing, you know, and it just felt like home to me, and I've always wanted to be a Razorback.
McCorkle was also inspired to follow in the footsteps of her idol, Olympian Sandy Morris.
She's really strong and fast. I want to be just like her. I follow her, keep up with her, and she really inspires me.
But before she moves on to the hill, McCorkle's goal is to eclipse her personal record at Greenwood and clear the 13-foot mark.
My personal record right now is 12.9, and my goal is to jump 13 before I go to college.
In Greenwood, Brooke Grimsley, 5 News Sports. Senior Alex Matlock originally went to Fayetteville High School but transferred to Mountainburg to be closer to family. That move has proven to be beneficial not only to him but also for Mountainburg's basketball team. We caught up with the Dragons to see how Matlock has been a key player for the program. In Tuesday's game against Union Christian, Mountainburg's leading scorer Alex Matlock took a hit to the head in the first half of the game, sidelining him for most of the second quarter. His absence early on greatly affected the Dragons.
I went in, the ball missed, and I went in for a rebound, and his shoulder came in to hit me.
When he's not on the floor, you know, other guys are, you can tell, kind of question, all right, who's going to step up and who's going to make some plays. And so when he's not out there, it definitely makes things harder for us.
When Matlock returned to the game after halftime, the Dragons were down 18-4, but the senior, who averages almost 20 points per game, did what he's done for his team all season, igniting the offense, leading a second-half comeback to defeat the Eagles 39-35 in overtime.
I think he hit 3 in a row just in the span of a minute or two, and all of a sudden from down 19, we're down 7 or whatever it was, and we were able to feed off that.
Matlock's effort in that game is nothing new. The senior has been a key leader for the Dragons since transferring from Fayetteville his sophomore year. Even though it was an adjustment going from a 7A to a 2A school, Matlock's teammates helped him through the transition.
My first year I didn't really get to play much, but last year and this year I was able to step out and be a leader. I just love playing with these guys. I'm a senior, Quincy Pixley. He's been a good teammate to me, and they welcomed me.
Matlock and Mountainburg are hoping to make a deep playoff run, but right now they are just approaching the season one game at a time.
Mainly our goal this year, I'd like to go to state, but we have to go through district and regionals to get there first. So I'm taking a game at a time.
After high school, Matlock hopes to play for the University of Arkansas Fort Smith's basketball team. The Razorbacks women's basketball team hit the road this weekend, traveling to Baton Rouge for a rematch against LSU, a team that handed them a loss at home earlier this month. The Razorbacks were hoping to avenge their close loss to LSU at Bud Walton Arena. The Hogs were able to hold off the Tigers in the first quarter until Rena Hill banks the first bucket for LSU. Malika Monk fires back with a 2-point jumper to push the Hogs ahead. Aaliyah Wilson, she goes from deep and helps Arkansas lead 20-13 going to the second with this shot. Second quarter now, Devin Cosper, she's going to miss the jumper, but Bailey Zimmerman gets the rebound and the putback for the Razorbacks, but turnovers start to hamper the Hogs. It's going to be a steal by LSU's Moncrief, and she's going to take it down the court to a quick pass to Richard Harris under the basket for the layup. Arkansas leads just by 2 going into the break. Tigers' Chloe Jackson with a 3. Jackson comes in clutch once again for the Tigers, hitting the game-tying 2-point jumper. Fourth quarter, Moncrief flies down the lane for a layup to extend the Tigers' lead. Malika Monk, she's going to be on the wing to drain the 3, but it's just not enough to help the Hogs. After leading in Baton Rouge, the Razorbacks were unable to hold off LSU, falling to the Tigers for the second time this season, 53-46. Arkansas's Jessica Jackson led all scorers in the game with 15 points. The Razorbacks will look to snap their 2-game losing streak when Georgia comes to town on Thursday. Arkansas faced Oklahoma State in the Big 12 SEC Challenge yesterday, but the Razorbacks didn't pose much of a threat to the Cowboys in Stillwater. Oklahoma State came into the battle averaging 88 points per game, and they hit that mark with a little over 7 minutes left to play in the game. Then they went on to surpass it, cruising to a 99-71 victory over the Hogs. Arkansas was outplayed, especially defensively. The 99 points allowed were the most this season. This was a loss that exposed that the Hogs still have a way to go in order to make a run for the NCAA tournament in March, but they say the heartbreak at Oklahoma didn't damage their confidence heading back into SEC play.
It seemed like we were half step slow, so maybe that had something to do with it. But we got to learn from it. I think that's the key. You know, the hardest thing is you're in your conference, you're in the family, you're playing, you're getting after, you're in a race, and then you have to jump out. And to come over here, and Oklahoma State's playing well.
No, I don't affect us confidence at all. It just keep going in the conference and push us more to show us where we at right now outside of league play.